In today's session, we will see rather two important types of requirements, that is functional and non-functional requirements. So in the last session, we saw that there are two broad categories of requirements. One is user requirements and another is system requirements. Okay. So user requirements are the problem statements that are being given by the user, and system requirements are the detailed description of how to satisfy or how to give, okay, the justification to user requirements. So under system requirements, we have two to three broad categories. So one is functional requirement, another is non-functional, and third one is domain requirement. Okay, so they may ask, so many times it is asked in the examination that differentiate or explain functional and non-functional requirements, and sometimes they also ask to differentiate between functional and non-functional requirements. They may also ask you to define. Okay, they may also ask the definitions. All right, so this is a 5 to 10 marks question. Okay, so we'll go through it. Let us see one by one. Okay. So functional requirements. Let me tell you what are functional requirements, right? See, the name itself indicates functional. Functional means what? It is related to the operational use of your software. That is related to the main functioning of your software. So functional requirements are all about the functioning of your software. The requirements, okay, the system requirements, which will provide the functionality to your software, right? See, statements of services the system should provide. Okay, so it will state us what are the services that your system should provide. Services are nothing but what are the operations that your system should do, how the system should react to particular inputs. Okay, it means it is related to working, or when what is the main working of your software, that comes under functional requirement. It means, in short, working of a software. Okay, working of a software, and how the system should behave in particular situation. It means overall you can say that it is related. Okay, so here your functional requirements are related to three main things, that is functionality. Okay, functionality, or you can also call it as what, operations, related operations, okay, of your software. Then it is also related to input, what kind of inputs have to be given, right? And what kind of output are expected, what kind of output are expected, right? So this is all about what, functional requirements, okay, which will provide the functionality or operationality, or bringing the software into operations. What are the different operations that are to be performed, and how the inputs are to be given, or what are the different inputs that have to be given, and what are the expected outputs. Okay, yeah, so that is called as what, functional requirements, or they are also called as what, functionality requirements. Okay, now let me move towards the second one. Second one is non-functional requirements. Okay, so what are non-functional requirements? Okay, anybody? If functional is nothing but giving the functionality, all right, so what may be the non-functional? Anybody? Non-functional requirements, it is just like technical and non-technical. Okay, so what technical people are doing, they are supporting our software technically, related to coding, design and all. What is a part of non-technical? Non-technical means what? It may be related to maintenance, or it may be related to transportation. Okay, it may be related to installation, right? So technical is just like front end, and non-technical is just like back end. So similarly, functional requirements are the front ends, okay, related to technical things, and non-functionality is related to back end, that is nothing but what, non-technical aspects of your software. Okay, so what are those non-technical aspects, okay, or the factors that affect our software externally, right? So Non-functional requirements are all about what? External factors. Okay, external factors, the factors which are external to our software. Okay, or you can also call it as what? These factors are just like what? Non-technical, right? Non-technical requirements, right? Non-technical requirements of our software. Okay, is it clear about functional requirements and non-functional requirements? Is it clear?
Ma'am, external factor means?
Yeah. So I will be explaining you through diagram. Here we have a diagram. Okay. Yes. Now, Nadeem, here we have a diagram. There I will
Yes,
be
ma'am.
telling you. In detail, we will talk there. Yes. Nice question, Nadeem. Very
Okay,
good.
ma'am.
Okay. Now see.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah. See. Here they have also given some things which belongs. What I exactly mean about external, that may be a constraint. Okay, constraints means what? Rules and regulations. Okay, or any norms. So constraints on services. Okay, so constraints on the services that are being provided by the technical team, or functions offered by the system, such as timing constraints, constraints on development process, standards, etc. So these factors exactly falls under external and non-technical. Okay, it means if I want to develop a software, or if I want to provide a functionality to a software, there are some constraints. I told you that there are some constraints like timing constraint, there may be some cost constraint, or there may be some constraint like there are no technical employees working for this software. All such kind of things which are outside the technical views. Okay, which are outside technical views, right? Those all are called as what? External factors. So for example, another small example I will give you to understand both functional and non-functional requirements. Okay, suppose you know movies, right? Suppose we'll take example of movie. Huh? So I would take an example of movie, for example, Chak De, right? So in this movie, the actors are actors, and all the main roles comes under functionality of the movie. Okay, so they all play major role. They are the lead to conduct that movie. So those are functional. Those actors comes under this category, functional category. Yeah. So we have backend team like there is a choreographer, right? There is a sound recorder, spot boys, makeup artist. So many another people are there. Without them, it is not possible to complete the movie. So all those are non-functional, but they are related to the software. So this is one example, right? Now coming to software, one example related to software I will take. We have taken an example of, for example, mental health care patient management system. So overall functionality of the software comes under this functional, writing, coding, all the coding and how your programs are going to run, that comes under functional requirement. Now what is non-functional requirement? So there is another team, one who is taking care that whether the software can be conducted in the given cost, whether the software can be carried out by these employees or not, whether we have sufficient employees or not, whether we can provide proper backup to run these programs or not. So all these factors comes under non-functional. Okay, so which are non-technical. All right. Okay. So let me move towards the third category. Okay, so third category is domain. Okay, domain requirements. So requirements that come from application domain of the system. So these are the requirements which basically comes after executing your software on the desktop, and then reflects characteristics of that domain. So domain is all about, here you can take when actually you run your software. Okay, when actually you run your software, what requirements will come from that, those are called as what? Domain requirement. Okay, now we'll take a few more glance about functional requirements. We'll move towards more detailing now. So in examination, you can first go for definitions and then the explanation. Okay, so here taking for the explanation of functional requirements. So I have again categorized. See, it describes functionality or system services it depends on the type of software, expected users, and the type of system where the software is used. So functional requirements is all about services. As I said, you system services, which is related to functionality of your software and what kinds of inputs must be given, what are the expected outputs, or how the screen should behave at a proper situation. Okay, so depends on the type of software. Okay, so the functionality depends on what? It depends upon what type of users are going to use your software and which software architecture you are following, right? Then functional user requirements may be high level statements of what the system should do, okay? But functional system requirements should describe the system services in detail. So high level statements are nothing but what? As I told you, when the requirement comes to us, we have to first take an initiative to form a proper set of requirements. So all once when all the requirements are finalized, they will be the final statements. Okay. So the main work starts when we get this final level of statements. So in short, you can describe the functional requirements in this way. Okay. Now, one more thing I'll tell you here. Suppose we will take an example of library software. Huh? Hope you know how the library software works. Okay. So in many universities and libraries, okay, in so many universities and libraries, there are some softwares, okay, which are centralized, right? So what is centralized? What is centralized? Okay. So how does that software work? Suppose initially I will share one screen with you. Okay, suppose this is the main screen. Okay, so suppose this is the main screen. Let me take this as a main screen of your library system. First we have a login session here. Then in login you will log with username and you will log in with the password. Okay, once when the login is successful, you will move to another form. Okay, you will move to another form where it will ask the details of student. Okay, where it will ask the details. Okay, so it will ask you the details of student. Okay, so once when I enter these details of student, what is going to happen? It will first start verifying the details of the student. It will first start verifying the details of student, and after that once it will verify that the student belongs to same college, okay, it will ask or it will display the main database. Okay, it will display the main database. So the database is categorized on basis like author, okay, or the book, or you can take it as a subject which you want to read. Yeah, so in this way there are three main criteria when you want to get into the library management system. First thing is that you have to log in with the given username and password. You have to enter your details. After login also you have to enter your details, and if those details are verified, then only you can get access to the main library software. So in this, once when you enter in this library software, you can enter the name of author or the subject or title of that book. Okay, and once when you enter title of that book, you will get the book number. So once when the book is admitted in the library, each book will have one scan code, or you can say barcode, or you can say that it has got some number, right? So depending on that number, the librarian will find out that book from so many racks and he will give you that book. So this is how the library system works. Okay, there are so many books like magazines, journals, okay, newspapers, or there may be only textbooks, notes book, handbook, okay, only programming books, yeah, magazines, or so many novels. Different kinds of books are there. So many things are included here. So this library is again centralized. Okay, so this library software is again centralized. Okay, so this is how the library software is going to work. So the same example I have taken here. Okay, so see in this example, so what I want to tell, I want to tell you about the functional requirements of this library software. I want to tell you some functionalities or some working, okay, or some operations that are carried out in library system. So that is called as functional requirements or functionality of library system. Okay, so let me tell you that. See, a library system that provides a single interface to a number of databases of articles in different library. So what this is a requirement where what happens, there is an interface. One single login page is there which will relate you to number of databases. So there is not only one database, there are n number of databases which will contain a set of articles. So articles are nothing but what? Some views which are written by different users. For example, if I want to see what are the latest articles, okay, on astronomy, okay, so if I want to see that latest articles on astronomy, so there are so many different types of authors who are making research constantly, or they are studying the old work and they are publishing their new work in the form of article. Okay, so what we may have, we are taking an example here which is providing a only single login page. Single interface means what? There is only one login page, as I have described in the example just now. And but that is going to provide you relating link to number of databases. Once you enter your login, your details or credentials are verified, you will get into a set of databases of articles. Okay, so why number of databases? It will provide you lot of articles which are from different libraries. It means there are some libraries which are interrelated through some server. Okay, then if, once when you enter that, what you can do, you can search, you can download, and you can print these articles. So there are three facilities provided by this software. Once when you create an ID, you can search for any of the book or article. You can also download that and you can also print that. So remember guys, this is not provided free of cost. When you want to upload, download or print any, download any article, it needs membership. But if your library has a tie-up with some of the international publications, they will directly provide access to the student. All right, so that is the software. Okay, so we have two broad categories here, right? So these are our two requirements which are provided by the user. These are the two requirements which are provided, okay, or these are the two main functionalities, right? And how these functionalities are conducted. Let us see how these functionalities are conducted. So in short, you can call it as these are the user requirements and these are the system requirements. Okay, these are the user requirements and these are the system requirements. That is the detailing to satisfy these requirements, or the detailing that is carried out to obtain or to code these user requirements. So what are those? The user shall be able to search. Okay, the user should be able to search either all of initial set of databases or select a subset from it. It means once when I log into that software, the searching facility should be provided to me so that I can search for entire database or I can search into a part of the database. Okay. Second, the system shall provide appropriate viewers for the users to read documents in document stores. It means once when I log in and I'm implementing some search, it should exactly match with the search. It should not provide me unnecessary documentation. It should provide me appropriate viewers. It means it should provide the appropriate search for me, right? Every order shall be allocated a unique identifier ID. It means when you the network is bit low. Am I audible? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, thank you.
No, ma'am.
Hey, I'm audible. How can you say no? Huh? Ketan?
No, ma'am.
केतन देतो मॅडम.
मॅम मगाशी ऐकून झालं आता
हा
यायला.
हा. ओके ओके. आता ऐकू येतं ना?
मॅम मध्ये मध्ये काय होते नेटवर्कला?
ते नेटवर्क डाऊन असल्यामुळं थोडस लेट ऐकू येते तुम्हाला. नेटवर्क थोडस डाऊन आहे.
मॅम रिपीट करा मग.
हा?
रिपीट करा. थोडं repeat करा मॅम.
From where? Examples.
Yes, examples of functional requirement.
Yes, I will tell. See, so first in library system, okay, so there are the two main user requirements. What are those? We have a library system, okay. So what is that library system? As I told you, only one login page is there. Through that login page, once when you log in and all the student details are this one verified, what will happen? You will get an entrance for number of database of articles, databases, okay. It means there are connected database, okay, which are from different library. And in that database, what you will get? You will get lot of articles, right? Then what are the facilities that must be provided to the user? User can be able to search, okay. He must be able to download and print that article. So these are the requirements here, right? Okay, these are the user requirements, right? Okay. Now, how these requirements are implemented, more detailing to satisfy these requirements. So what are the main detailings? The user shall be able to search, okay? User should be able to search the initial set of databases or select a subset. It means search facility should be provided for the user to search all the databases as well as for a particular database. It means, in short, search plays very important role here. Search is nothing but what? Providing access to the user to access all these different databases which are from different libraries. Okay. Then the system shall provide appropriate viewers for the user. Okay. What it has to do? It has to provide appropriate viewers for the user. It means, suppose I want to search for a particular author. It should not provide me any unnecessary information. It should provide me the exact information that is being required for me as a user. Then every order shall be allocated with a unique identifying number. Suppose I just take that article and I want to purchase that entire journal. Articles are published in a book which is called as a journal. Now, when I want to purchase that entire journal, what I have to do? I have to purchase that and a unique order ID should be generated to me. Okay. So this is a small example of telling you how the library system works. So this is one more example along with that mental health care and insulin pump control system. Okay. So you can write only these small explanation for functional requirements. Okay. Then, so there are some important things which when it comes to functional requirements, okay. So these are some characteristics, okay. So these are few characteristics of functional requirement, okay. So this is first one, that is requirements imprecision, right. So what it means, problems arise when requirements are not precisely stated. So I will read it first. Ambiguous requirements may be interpreted in different ways to developers and users. Consider the term appropriate viewers. What it means? A special purpose viewer for each different document type. Developer interpretation. Provide a text viewer that shows the contents of a document. So what it means, this is again considering the example of library, these characteristics of functional requirements. Okay. So what does this requirement imprecision means? It means that before going to finalize the requirements, you should be able to sort the requirements properly. Okay, you should not include the unnecessary data when it comes for finalizing the requirements. Only the data which will satisfy the needs of users, okay, or what is required to be developed in required for the development. Okay, hence it says that you should have a precise information, brief information, okay, which is related only to the development, right. Problems may arise when requirements are not precisely stated. Okay, if customer is not giving the requirements correctly, okay, then the next steps may be wrong during the development. So it tells us that, it overall tells us that whatever requirements are finalized, that must be precise. That is one of the characteristics of the functional requirement. Okay. Am I audible? Are you getting that?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Okay.
ma'am.
Okay, thank you. See, what is what is the second feature? Okay. So ambiguous requirements may be interpreted in different ways by developers and users. Ambiguous means what? What do you mean by ambiguity? Ambiguity means what? Huh? What is ambiguity? Ambiguity means what? Confusing requirements. Okay, the requirements which are confused, right? So if you provide the confused requirements, ambiguous requirements, if the customer is giving you confused requirements, right? So the developers, okay, the developers, those who are going to use that software may be misleaded during the next phases. Okay, so ambiguous requirements may be interpreted in different ways by developers and users. So who are users here? One who is going to use that software, end user. Huh? So if the requirements are not stated clearly, developers may sometimes fail to develop the correct software and the users may also get a wrong software, right? So requirement imprecision is nothing but what? Providing the correct priority to the requirements. Okay, yeah. These two are examples here. These two lines are examples. In the above sentence, I used one term. What is that term? See here. The system shall provide appropriate viewers, okay, for the user to read documents in document store. It means, suppose the user wants to read a document of Bal Guru Swami. You have to only provide the search for Bal Guru Swami and the necessary content of Bal Guru Swami. So suppose the user wants the complete reference of Java by Bal Guru Swami. So in that case, your software is expected to only display that details, not the personal details of Bal Guru Swami. Isn't it? Are you getting that? So it means that special purpose viewer for each different document type. It means I am one user who want to see the complete reference of Java. There may be another user who want to see the complete, or he want to see some book on PHP, right? It means this is nothing but what? Appropriate views should be generated for appropriate users. Individual views must be generated to individual users. It means that one to one, okay, one to one cardinality should be there. The customer or the viewer or the user of the library management software must be able to view the books or the articles that he is going to search. So it means that this is one example. If the requirements are clear, the software will work clear. The requirement is that user must log in, and after login, the user must be able to search all the databases of all the other libraries that are connected, and he can be able to get his appropriate search. That is our user requirement here. Okay, yeah. See, provide a text viewer that shows the contents of a document. It means whatever document I'm going to check, proper editors should be also there to display the output that are being generated from the search. Okay, so this is the first feature, okay, of functional requirement, right? Yeah. So let me go to the second feature, right? So what is second feature? Let me tell you. Requirements, completeness, and consistency. Okay. So complete and consistency. These are another two features which are directly related to the functionality, right? So they should include description of all facilities required. So as I told you, in software engineering subject, we are just going to learn the non-functional requirement of your project. Okay, software engineering subject, it itself is a non-functional requirement. Why it is a non-functional requirement? Because it is telling us the back part of a software development. So software development simultaneously along with software development, what is the documentation part? Okay, that is needed. That is all included in software engineering. Hence, software engineering itself, it is a non-functionality. Okay, it itself is a non-functional requirement of a software. Okay, what is a functional requirement? Your live softwares. What softwares you are going to develop, that is a functional. What is non-functional here? What are the things that you have to do to complete this software? What kind of documentation? Okay. Then what kind of information has to be finalized? What kind of work has to be carried out by the team? How you are going to measure the performance of your software, or how you are going to measure the quality of software. All these comes under non-functional. So the software engineering subject comes under a non-functional requirement, okay, which will tell you how the software or how to get the work done through our software. Okay. So consistent. What is consistent? There should be no conflicts or contradictions in the descriptions of the system facilities. Consistency means what? Clear. Okay. It should be very clear that, okay, yes, these are the requirements and this is the thing which we are going to do. So completeness and consistency and requirement priorities. These three are the main factors of your functional requirements, right? Now, when this is asked in examination for 10 marks, explanation of functional and non-functional requirements, okay, then you can define it. You can give example of functional requirements and cover these points: imprecision, completeness, and consistency when it is asked for 10 marks. When it is asked only for 5 marks, directly define what is functional requirement, and then you can directly go for this example. Okay. When it is asked only for 5 marks, saying explain functional requirements, you can directly go for definition and explanation, okay, along with an example. If it is asked for 10 marks, explain, they will ask both. They will ask both, that is functional and non-functional. They will not only ask you functional requirement for 10 marks, okay. So what they do is they will ask you both, okay. They will ask you both, saying compare both functional and non-functional requirements, okay. So this is all about functional requirements, okay. So now I have another 5 minutes. So I will see how much we can cover for non-functional, okay. So let me move towards non-functional requirements, okay. So what are non-functional requirements? The definition is already given to you in the above statement. Constraints on the services or functions offered by systems such as, see here also services are there and here also services are there, but these services are non-technical, these services are technical, okay. So these services are technical and these are non-technical services. So what are some of those? Such as timing constraints, constraints on development process and standards. So timing constraints means in what time our software has to be completed. Some another constraints on development process. Okay, so development is all about designing and coding. So what are the different constraints that may arise during designing and coding? Such as like finalizing, okay, finalizing the software and hardware architecture, okay, or finalizing the time for the completion of your software, finalizing the domain, okay, or finalizing the tool, which tool you have to use, or finalizing the number of employees, or finalizing the team members, right? Then standards, okay, so this is also one of the constraints. Standards is nothing but what? How you are going to measure the quality and the performance of your software. In what terms you are going to measure the quality and performance of the software, that comes under standards. So you must be getting clear now. In order to complete these functionalities, what can be done? That comes under non-functional requirements. In order to obtain your software, what is to be done in the non-technical part? That all comes under non-functional requirements. Okay, yeah. So I have 3 minutes left out. So I will just highlight these. Okay. So these define system properties and constraints. Okay. So what are those? Reliability. How much reliable your software is. Response time. What is response time? Suppose if I am giving some input and how much time is needed to process that input and generate the useful output, that is called as response time. And storage requirements. So how much amount of storage is required for me for this entire software? How much amount of RAM is required? Okay. So all the backend part. Okay. All the backend part that comes under non-functional. So constraints are on maybe like IO device capability, system representations, etc. Okay. Then Process requirements may also be specified mandating a particular case tool, case system, programming language, or development method. So case is nothing but what? Computer aided and software engineering tool. This is one of the tool. In this tool, you are going to do designing. Okay. So that in short, I will tell you that first thing, non-functional requirements, it is all about the constraints like reliability, portability, storage capability, software, hardware requirements, and finalizing all these things. Okay. Then here they are telling us that which tool can be used to make the designing work better. Okay. Yeah. So this non-functional are very, very much important in order to conduct the functional requirements. Now, just like when you are using a front end for the coding, you need a backend to a backend like database. So both functional and non-functional requirements works together hand in hand. Okay. So we are lagging out of time. So if you have any queries, you can ask. There is 1 minute left. So in tomorrow's section, again, we will start. I think tomorrow we may go for non-functional requirements.